everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Hannah Evans.
And what a beautiful holiday weekend, wasn't it?
Yes, it was really nice. Didn't rain. It was perfect.
Yeah, nice and hot, too.
Yes, it was hot to end out summer, and the heat will continue over the next couple of days.
Yeah, but not too stifling like we saw earlier this summer.
Yes, it won't be that bad, but today and tomorrow it's going to be pretty hot. So let's take a look now at the temperatures to start. We're starting out warm this morning. We're in the 60s. We have 65 degrees in Whitesboro and Richfield Springs, 66 degrees in Earlville, and the dew point's already in the 60s as well, 62 degrees for the dew point. It is going to be hot and humid today. Highs will be near 90, but feels like values will be in the lower to mid 90s. So we do have a heat advisory in effect for parts of our area for today, this afternoon, evening. As the heat and humidity continues, both today and tomorrow, we see unsettled weather returning Thursday. So this does start to cool us down a little bit and will be cooler into the weekend, but it's still going to be humid. So for today, heat and humidity continues. We'll be seeing highs near 90. Heat index values are going to be in the lower to mid 90s. I will talk a little bit more about this heat coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. New this morning,
the WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back. It's going to be pretty humid today. Our dew point values are expected to be in the upper 60s, and it looks to stay in the upper 60s through the end of the week, even into the weekend. So it's going to be hot today in terms of the temperature. Especially today and tomorrow, we'll be seeing highs near 90. We'll drop into the 80s Thursday and Friday, but still humid. And then we'll drop into the 70s over the weekend, but it's still going to be humid with those dew point values in the upper 60s. So if you did want to spend time outside for both today and tomorrow, I would say yes, because it's going to be dry and we'll be seeing some sunshine. But I would bring around a water bottle. Definitely stay hydrated for today and tomorrow, because once again, those heat index values are going to be in the lower to mid 90s. Maybe for Thursday, maybe in the morning, because we are going to be seeing unsettled weather return Thursday with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now, if you don't like this heat, it looks like it won't be sticking around for long. 6 to 10 days from now, so this is our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, which looks to be into next week. We will be below average what it looks like in our area, so temperatures will be back into those more fall-like temperatures. Gary.
Maybe one of those lunk alarm size water bottles. Right?
Yes, bring the big water bottle today.
Hannah, thanks. Well, tens of thousands of parties.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting out with mostly clear skies this morning. It's already pretty warm and humid outside, and it's going to be hot and humid this afternoon. So let's take a look at downtown Utica. Mostly clear skies to start. It is dry, and it will remain dry today, but once again, getting really hot and humid, so you definitely want to carry around that water bottle. Our temperatures to start are all in the 60s. We have 65 degrees in Whitesboro, 64 degrees in Westmoreland, and if we look to the south, we have 64 degrees in Cooperstown, Norwich, and in Hamilton. Our dew point's already at 62 degrees to start. Today, this dew point will rise to the upper 60s, so we'll get pretty humid outside, and our temperature will reach near 90. So with the combination of these two numbers, it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s today. Once again, that dew point trend continues into the weekend. We will be in the upper 60s. So although it starts to cool down towards the end of the week and the weekend, this humidity will stick around for a little bit. Today, it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. It will be the same tomorrow as it gets really hot and humid. We start to cool down a little bit for Thursday and Friday. Our temperatures will be back into the 80s because we do see unsettled weather come in Thursday with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. Same thing goes for Friday, but it's still going to be pretty humid. And the weekend will drop back into the 70s, but it still is going to be humid with that unsettled unsettled weather. We are dry this morning on our Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2, Doppler radar. We will remain dry today and tomorrow. Our next chance of unsettled weather isn't until Thursday, but today and tomorrow we are going to be very hot. The National Weather Service has put out a heat advisory in effect for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer County starting at noon today, and that will last until 7 p.m. Same thing tomorrow. It's going to be very similar to today with the heat and humidity. It starts to get a little bit better for the end of the week as we do see some scattered thunderstorms roll in. For Thursday and Friday, we'll drop back into the 80s, and then we'll be back into the 70s for the weekend. But once again, that humidity looks like it's staying through the weekend. So our skycast today shows dry conditions. At noon, we'll already be in the lower 80s, and then we reach the mid to upper 80s for the high temperature, but it's going to feel like we're going to be in the lower to mid 90s. Tonight we'll drop back into the 60s. That humidity sticks around though overnight, and tomorrow same thing. We'll be in the lower 80s at noon, upper 80s for the high temperature with some sunshine, but it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. So for the rest of today, grab that water bottle, make sure you stay cool as we're going to begin getting very hot and humid with some sunshine, and tonight will remain clear with the low in the 60s. Tomorrow, grab the water bottle as well. Same thing, it's going to be very hot and humid. We continue to see the humidity, but we'll start to cool down as unsettled weather returns Thursday. Gary.
I think you better keep Nala inside today.
Yes, Nala's staying inside with the air conditioner for sure. She gets very tired if it's hot, so I always roll the air conditioner for her.
You're so good to her.
Yes.
Hannah, thanks. The time right now is 5:20. Joining us for this half hour, I'm Gary Libertor.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Hannah Evans.
And let's not make the people wait. When are we going to get that cool down?
It looks like Thursday we'll be back into the 80s, but still going to be hot and humid. And then the weekend will be in the 70s, but still going to be humid. So the humidity stays, but the temperature starts to drop.
And not much rain, huh?
Yeah, so it looks like scattered thunderstorms Thursday, Friday. So not too bad, but it's something we're just keeping an eye on.
Keep an eye on it.
Yes. So let's take a look now at the temperatures to start. This morning, we're already pretty warm. We are in the 60s, 65 degrees in Whitesboro and 64 degrees in Richfield Springs and in Westmoreland. We're already pretty muggy as well, 62 degrees for that dew point already. The dew point today will rise to the upper 60s, so it is going to get pretty humid, and that temperature will rise to near 90. So it's going to feel like we're in the lower to mid 90s today. Same thing for tomorrow. It will continue to be hot and humid. We do see unsettled weather return Thursday with scattered thunderstorms. This will drop our temperature a little bit because it's from a cold front, but it looks to remain humid for the weekend. So although we'll be cooling down, it still is going to be pretty humid. For today, though, highs are going to be near 90. Feels like values are going to be in the lower to mid 90s. We do have a heat advisory in effect for some of our counties. I will talk a little bit more about the heat and that heat advisory coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast, never more than 10 minutes away. New this morning, President.
The Cooperstown Cam is brought to you by Utica National Insurance Group.
Welcome back. We're waking up to mostly clear skies this morning, but it's already warm and muggy. 64 degrees for the temperature and 62 degrees for the dew point. This is being measured at the Griffith Park Airport in Rome. Today, it's going to reach near 90, and it's going to get really humid with that dew point in the upper 60s. The National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory today for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer counties. This goes into effect at noon and ends at 7 p.m. since it is going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. Same thing tomorrow. It's going to be hot and humid again tomorrow. Unsettled weather returns Thursday with scattered thunderstorms, so we will start to cool down a little bit, but the humidity does stick around. Gary.
Thanks. The music world continues to mourn the loss.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting out with mostly clear skies this morning, and it's already pretty warm and humid. It is going to be hot and humid today. Let's take a look at downtown Utica. Mostly clear skies and dry conditions. It is going to be dry with sunshine today, but it is going to get really hot and humid this afternoon, so make sure you do bring lots of water around today to stay hydrated. Our temperatures to start are in the 60s, so we are pretty warm. We have 66 degrees in Whitesboro and Deansboro, And if we look to the south, we have 64 degrees in Cooperstown, Hamilton, and in Norwich. We're also pretty muggy to start, 62 degrees for that dew point. Today, our dew point is going to be in the upper 60s, and today and tomorrow it's going to be really hot in terms of the temperature. The temperature starts to drop as we head into the end of the week and the weekend, but it's going to remain humid through the weekend. So with this dew point number today and with the temperature number today combined, it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. So our temperature just reaches the upper 80s, but our dew point reaches the upper 60s. This will make it feel like the lower to mid 90s today, and it's going to be the same tomorrow. Unsettled weather approaches Thursday with a cold front that brings in scattered thunderstorms. It drops this heat index value a little bit because our temperature drops, and it drops our heat index value for the weekend. But once again, it's still going to be humid, so it's still going to feel warmer than the actual temperature outside through the weekend. We are dry this morning on our Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We will remain dry today with our next cold front not approaching until Thursday, but we are going to be really hot and humid once again. Drink lots of water, bring it around with you today. We have a heat advisory in effect from the National Weather Service for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer counties from noon until 7 p.m. Our next cold front approaches Thursday afternoon. This does bring in scattered thunderstorms for Thursday, Friday, and it looks like we will continue to see scattered showers into the weekend. But today and tomorrow, we will remain dry, hot, and humid. So today on our Skycast, we will see that at noon we'll already be in the low 80s, and we'll be in the upper 80s for the high temperature, but it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. Tonight we'll drop in temperature into the 60s, but the humidity stays around, and the humidity stays around tomorrow. Same thing tomorrow. We'll be in the lower 80s at noon, upper 80s for the high temperature with feels like values in the lower to mid 90s. So expect it to get really hot and humid today. Bring that water around. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Once again, we'll be near 90, but it's going to feel like we're in the 90s. Tonight will remain humid overnight. And tomorrow, same thing, highs near 90. Heat index values in the lower to mid 90s. We see scattered thunderstorms return Thursday with a cold front. That cold front drops our temperature a little bit for the weekend, but it's still going to be humid, Gary.
So take it easy today outside.
Yes, today and tomorrow, same thing, really hot and humid with the sun beaming down. So yeah, drink lots of water too.
So do your mowing if you have to early or late.
Yes.
Not during the day.
Yes.
Hannah, thanks. Now to Not Your Ann. Thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Libertor.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Hannah Evans.
And boy, what a gorgeous holiday weekend we had, and the heat is just continuing.
Yes, it was really nice this weekend. It wasn't too hot, but it was summer-like. Great way to end unofficially summer.
Especially if you went to Old Forge yesterday, right?
Yes, yes, it was really nice up there. It was actually nice and cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't too hot, but it will be really hot and humid today and tomorrow. So make sure you stay hydrated. Let's take a look now at the temperatures to start. We're in the 60s, 66 degrees in Whitesboro and 64 degrees in Earlville and Richfield Springs. We're pretty muggy to start too. We have 62 degrees for our dew point. Today it's going to be really hot and humid. Highs will be near 90. This dew point will reach the upper 60s, so it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s for both today and tomorrow. Make sure you stay hydrated and stay cool. We see some scattered thunderstorms return Thursday due to a cold front. So that cold front will start to drop the temperature, but it's still going to remain humid into the weekend. So today, expect some sunshine, highs near 90. It's going to be really hot and humid with those heat index values in the lower to mid 90s. I will talk a little bit more about the heat advisory in effect and more of this heat coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast, never more than 10 minutes away. Well, brand new this morning, investigators are looking for whomever.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back. It's going to be pretty humid today. Our dew point values are going to reach the upper 60s, so it is going to feel pretty humid, almost tropical outside, and it will continue to be really humid through the end of the week, even into the weekend. Today and tomorrow are going to be hot. We'll start to drop in temperature towards the end of the week and the weekend, so although that temperature will drop, it still looks to remain humid. So this afternoon, highs are going to be near 90. I would probably skip the dog walk, or if you walk your cat, dog or cat walk as well, because near 90 degrees temperatures, even with this humidity as well, it's going to heat up the ground a little bit more. Asphalt, 140 degrees. Concrete, it's going to be 125 degrees. Even the grass, it's going to feel like 95 degrees on the grass. Their paws can burn really fast at this rate, so I would skip that walk here this afternoon. Maybe do it this morning or then later after the sun sets. If you don't like this heat, this is a good thing because 6 to 10 days from now, it looks like our temperatures are going to drop back to just around and below average for this time of year. Gary.
Thanks. Tens of thousands of party goers.
Central New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting out warm and muggy this morning, and it is going to get hot and humid today. Let's take a look at downtown Utica. Mostly sunny skies to start. We are dry, and we will remain dry today with sunny skies and really warm and humid weather. Our sky watchers have us in the 60s to start. We have 64 degrees in Clinton and New Hartford. If we take a look to the south, we have 63 degrees in Milford, Hartwick, and in Edmiston. So a warm and muggy start with our dew point at 62 degrees. This dew point will rise today, and the temperature will rise today as well. Our dew point is looking to reach the upper 60s, and it will remain in the upper 60s through the weekend. So the humidity does stick around, and that temperature will rise near 90. So with the humidity today and that temperature, it's going to feel warmer. Our heat index today is expected to be in the lower to mid 90s. Same thing goes for tomorrow. We'll start to cool down in terms of temperature for Thursday and Friday because a cold front approaches, bringing in some scattered thunderstorms. It cools us down into the 80s for Thursday and Friday. It's still going to feel warm, though, because we're still going to be pretty humid. And the weekend will be in the 70s again, but it's still going to be humid into the weekend. We are dry this morning on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We will remain dry today. Our next chance of rain doesn't look to come in until Thursday afternoon with those scattered thunderstorms. But since we are dry, we're really hot and humid with sunny skies. There has been a heat advisory issued from the National Weather Service for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer counties from noon this afternoon until 7 p.m. this evening. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue another heat advisory for tomorrow as well, and then we'll start to see a drop in temperature for Thursday and Friday as some scattered showers and thunderstorms move in due to a cold front. So today it's going to be really hot and humid. At noon we'll be in the lower 80s, and then we'll be in the upper 80s for the high temperature, but with that humidity it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. We'll remain humid overnight. Our temperature will drop into the 60s, and tomorrow will be hot again. Lower 80s at noon, upper 80s for the high temperature, with those heat index values back into the lower to mid 90s. So today, expect sunny skies, but once again, stay cool and stay hydrated. Bring that water around. We'll be in the upper 80s and we'll feel like the lower to mid 90s. And tonight we'll drop into the 60s, but we'll still be humid overnight. Tomorrow it's going to be very similar to today. It's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. We'll see a cold front approach Thursday, bring in some scattered thunderstorms, but we will remain humid into the weekend. Gary.
And as you've been mentioning, hydrate.
Yes, definitely bring the water bottle around. I have this here, and make sure to stay cool as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly over at Planet Fitness. They'd
The
give you the
lunk
lunk
alarm,
alarm.
yes.
Hannah, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Hannah Evans.
And it was so nice to have 3 straight days off, wasn't it?
Yes, I had 4. I was off Friday,
Oh,
too.
good for you.
Yes, it was really nice weather, too, which
Yeah.
was good. But today it's going to be hot and humid. Same thing tomorrow.
Yeah, not too bad, though.
Yes, it will just feel like the lower 90s, just around that. It's not as bad as it was. I think it was in May
Yeah.
that we saw it.
Yeah.
So let's take a look now at the temperatures to start. We are starting out in the 60s this morning. We have 65 degrees in Whitesboro and Earlville, 63 degrees in Westmoreland and Lake Pleasant. It's really humid to start as well, 62 degrees for that dew point. So warm and muggy this morning. We will get hot and humid today with this dew point value reaching the upper 60s and our temperature reaching near 90. 90. So it is going to feel like the lower to mid 90s both today and tomorrow before unsettled weather returns Thursday, bringing some thunderstorms. Our temperature is going to drop after Thursday, but the humidity stays. So although it will cool down for the weekend, it's still going to be humid. As for today, though, it's going to be really hot and humid. Make sure to stay cool and stay hydrated. Highs will reach near 90. I will talk a little bit more about this heat coming up, Gary.
Anna, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. New this morning.
The Cooperstown Cam is brought to you by Utica National Insurance Group.
Welcome back. We're starting warm and muggy this morning. 64 degrees for the temperature, 62 degrees for the dew point, and this is being measured at the Gervais Park Airport in Rome. Both these values are going to continue to rise today. Highs will be near 90 and our dew point value will rise to the upper 60s. Because of this, the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, and Shenango and southern Herkimer counties from noon today until 7 p.m. this evening, because heat index values are going to be in the lower to mid 90s. So it is going to be really hot and humid for today and tomorrow. Make sure you stay cool and hydrated. Unsettled weather returns Thursday due to a cold front. That starts to drop our temperature for the weekend, but it's still going to remain humid. Gary.
Thank you. The music world continues.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting out with mostly sunny skies this morning, along with some patchy fog in the valleys. It's already warm and muggy. So let's take a look at downtown Utica. We are seeing some nice colors from the sunrise here this morning. We are dry, and we will remain dry today, but it will be sunny, and it will get very hot and humid. Our sky watchers have us in the 60s this morning, so already pretty warm, 64 degrees in Clinton and New Hartford. If we take a look to the south, we have 63 degrees in Milford, Harwick, and in Evanston. Our dew point's already at 62 degrees, so that is pretty muggy. This will reach the upper 60s for today, and it will continue to remain humid for the end of the week, even into the weekend. So with this dew point value and our temperature reaching near 90, it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s for both today and tomorrow. Really hot days coming up. Make sure you stay cool and stay hydrated. Definitely bring that water bottle around. A cold front approaches Thursday, so it starts to cool down a little bit for the end of the week and the weekend, but it's still going to be humid, so it's still going to feel warmer than that actual temperature outside. So today, Nala and her neighbor Billy, they're happy that it's going to be sunny. Billy's getting all ready in his little basket this morning, ready to sunbathe, but definitely they're going to stay by the air conditioner for today since it is going to be so hot and humid with those highs near 90. And if you do have to walk your dog today, definitely get that done this morning. You want to avoid going in the afternoon since their paws are going to burn pretty quickly on the surface. We are dry on our Yorkville battery, Storm Tracker 2, Doppler radar, and we will remain dry today with that sunshine. That sun will really heat us up. We are going to be humid as well. We have a heat advisory in effect from the National Weather Service for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer counties starting at noon today, lasting until 7 p.m. It's going to be the same tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue another heat advisory for tomorrow. Still hot and humid and dry. We will be seeing our next chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms coming in Thursday and Friday. That will start to cool us down back into the 80s on those days and then into the 70s for the weekend. So on our Skycast today, though, it's going to get really hot. We'll be in the lower 80s already at noon and the upper 80s for the high temperature. It's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s, though. Tonight will stay humid. We'll drop into the 60s, seeing clear skies once again. And we'll be seeing sunshine again tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be very similar to the same weather today. We'll be in the lower 80s at noon and the mid to upper 80s for the high temperature. The heat index will be in the lower to mid 90s. So make sure you do stay hydrated today. Bring that water bottle around. Stay cool. Take breaks from being outside if you will be outside for longer periods, because it's going to get very hot and humid. Tonight it will still be humid, but we'll drop into the 60s. Tomorrow will be hot and humid as well. We'll start to see some unsettled weather coming in Thursday with scattered thunderstorms, and we'll start to see some relief in the temperature for the weekend, but it's still going to remain humid. Gary.
A lot cooler over the weekend.
Yes, we'll be back in the 70s, but it's still going to be humid, so it'll still probably feel closer to 80 degrees.
So it's going to stick around for a while.
Yes, for a little bit.
Hannah, thanks. Now to Not Your Average.
From where the news comes first, this is News Channel 2 at 7 a.m. on CW11.
A good Tuesday morning to you, and thank you for joining us here on the CW11. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Feels like you want to say Monday.
Yes, it does feel like Monday today, but we had off yesterday. There was no news, so
Yeah,
it's
nice,
Tuesday.
beautiful weekend, too.
Yes, it was a really nice weekend. It's going to get hot and humid today and tomorrow.
We'll deal with it.
Yeah, we'll be fine. So let's take a look now at the temperatures to start. We're starting out in the 60s, 65 degrees in Whitesboro and 64 degrees in Earlville and Richfield Springs. We're already a little bit muggy, 61 degrees for the dew point. Today, that temperature will reach the mid to upper 80s. This dew point will reach the upper 60s, so it's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. The same thing for tomorrow. So unsettled weather returns Thursday with scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. This does cool us down a bit in terms of temperature, but we're still going to be humid even into the weekend. So today expected to be hot and humid with sunshine, highs near 90. Feels like values in the lower to mid 90s. I will talk a little bit more about this heat and some heat advisories that are in effect coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. Brand new this morning.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting out with some sun this morning, and it is warm and muggy, getting hot and humid this afternoon. Let's take a look at downtown Utica. The sun has risen this morning. It is going to start to get warm pretty soon here, and we are going to be seeing dry conditions for today. Our skywatchers already have us in the 60s. We have 65 degrees in Mohawk, 61 degrees in Westdale, and looking to the south, we have 63 degrees in Milford, Hartwick, and Edmiston, and our dew point's already at 61 degrees. So we're warm and muggy to start. The dew point will rise today to the upper 60s, and it will remain really humid into the end of the week and the weekend. So the combination of our temperature reaching the upper 80s today and our dew point reaching the upper 60s, it is going to feel like the lower to mid 90s for both today and tomorrow. Unsettled weather approaches Thursday with a cold front, so our temperature will drop a little bit. Once again, it's still going to be humid. So Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, although we will be seeing a dropping temperature, 80s for Thursday and Friday and 70s for the weekend, it's still going to feel warmer than that temperature because it remains humid. We are dry this morning on our Yorkville battery, Storm Tracker 2, Doppler radar, and today it will remain dry. Same thing goes for tomorrow with some sunshine. So a heat advisory is in effect for noon to 7 p.m. today. This is by the National Weather Service, and this is for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer counties. So just make sure to stay hydrated and keep cool today, and then maybe skip that dog walk this afternoon as the ground is going to be even warmer than the air temperature. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue another heat advisory for tomorrow. It will be dry, same thing tomorrow, but our next chance of unsettled weather looks to be scattered thunderstorms for Thursday, Friday, and then a few scattered showers into the weekend as that temperature starts to break. But today, really hot and humid, lower 80s already at noon, mid to upper 80s for the high temperature with heat index values in the lower to mid 90s. Tonight will remain humid, will drop into the 60s. But tomorrow, we're going to be the same thing. We're going to be warm. We'll warm up really quickly, reaching the lower 80s at noon and the mid to upper 80s for the high temperature. The heat index value will be in the low to mid 90s. So make sure to stay cool and hydrated today. Bring that water bottle around. We'll be seeing sunshine. We'll reach the mid to upper 80s. But it's going to be humid, so it will feel like we're in the 90s. Tonight will remain humid, but will drop into the 60s. Tomorrow is the same thing. Highs are going to be near 90 with heat index values in the mid 90s. We are going to start to cool down in terms of temperature for Thursday and Friday as we see a cold front move through, bringing in some scattered thunderstorms. It's still going to be humid, though. We'll drop into the 70s this weekend, remaining unsettled, but it's still going to be humid.
Heat heat advisories are in effect for our region today, as the near 90-degree temperatures along with very high humidity are definitely a dangerous mix. Meteorologist Hannah Evans is in the Weather Center tracking things for us. And good afternoon to you, Hannah, on this very, very warm day.
Yes, good afternoon, Gary. It's already pretty hot out and we'll just keep getting warmer. Our high temperatures today expected to be near 90. It's going to be humid too, so the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer County from right now, noon, until 7 p.m. this evening. Our temperature right now is just at 80 degrees at the Governor's Park Airport in Rome, but it is expected to continue to rise with the sun really heating us up to the mid to upper 80s. We're already very humid. That dew point at 70 degrees, so it's making it feel a little bit warmer. The feels like temperatures today are expected to be in the lower to mid 90s, so that's why the heat advisory was issued. So make sure you stay cool today, stay hydrated. Same thing for tomorrow. Unsettled weather returns Thursday. We will see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. The temperature starts to drop on Thursday into the weekend, but that humidity sticks around. So although we will cool down to the 70s for the weekend, it's still going to be really humid with dew points right near 70. So today, expect hot and humid conditions with sunshine. Feels like temperatures will be in the lower to mid 90s. And then we'll talk a little bit more about this heat coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thanks. First Lady Dr. Jill.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are hazy, hot, and humid this afternoon with temperatures expected to reach near 90. Let's take a look at downtown Utica. We are seeing partly cloudy skies this afternoon. The sunshine is really going to continue to heat us up. We're going to reach the mid to upper 80s, but it's going to feel much warmer than that because of the humidity. Our sky watchers have us already in the lower 80s here at noon. We have 81 degrees in Clinton, Ilion, and Maryland, 82 degrees in Mohawk. Our dew point is at 70 degrees. That's being measured at the Governor's Park Airport in Rome. So really, really humid outside, and it is getting really warm. That's making our heat index already feel like the lower to mid 80s. We're already feeling a little bit warmer at this hour. Once our temperature rises to the mid 80s, that's when it will start to feel like the lower 90s because it is so humid. For the next couple of days, we are going to be hot and humid. Tomorrow, it's probably going to be the same thing as today, hazy, hot, and humid. Feels like values in the lower to mid 90s. And then as we head into Thursday and Friday, we start to cool down. The humidity sticks around, though. So although the weekend will be back in the 70s, it still is going to be really humid with that dew point value right near 70 degrees. So it's going to feel warmer than the actual temperature. So with that, Nala and her neighbor, they like the sunshine today. Today, she's saying hi to Billy. Billy's in his basket getting ready to sunbathe, but they'll also stay by the air conditioner because it is really hot in the sun outside. So they'll stay inside today with the AC running, but they'll sunbathe on and off throughout the day. We are dry on our Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2, Doppler radar. We will remain dry for today and for tomorrow. We are going to be seeing sunny skies and really hot and humid weather. We have that heat advisory in effect today until 7 p.m. I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service issued another heat advisory for tomorrow. It's going to be kind of the same thing as today. So if you were going to take your dog out for a walk this afternoon, I would probably skip that, or maybe wait until the sun sets later this evening because it's really hot outside. Maybe take them on the shaded grass because that is going to be the coolest. Concrete, it's going to be at 125 degrees once we hit 90 degrees for the temperature. Asphalt, even warmer than that. And Paul's burn really quickly in that kind of surface heat. So today, really hot and humid. We'll reach the mid to upper 80s. Feels like values are going to be in the low 90s. Tonight, we are going to drop into the 60s, but will remain humid. Tomorrow will be hazy, hot, and humid again. We'll be in the low 80s again at noon. Mid to upper 80s for the high temperature with feels like values in the lower 90s. So today, expect it to be really hot and humid. I would definitely stay hydrated and stay cool today. Bring that water bottle around. We are seeing sunshine tonight. Tonight, we will remain muggy. We'll fall into the 60s, but once again, remaining muggy overnight. And tomorrow will be hazy, hot, and humid as well, with highs near 90 once again. We'll start to cool down Thursday and Friday with some unsettled weather due to a cold front coming in, but we will remain humid through the weekend. Gary.
Hannah, thanks. Thousands of attendees of the week-long Burning Noon. Stay hydrated and stay inside where it's cool as a heat advisory is in effect for our region. Meteorologist Hannah Evans joining us now from the Weather Center to start us off this half hour. And Hannah, it's definitely a hot one out there right now.
Yes, so at this point, we're already in the lower 80s, but we're expected to reach the mid to upper 80s today with high humidity. Because of this, the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for Lewis, Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and southern Herkimer counties until 7 p.m. this evening. At this point, we're already at 80 degrees. This is being measured at the Griffith Park Airport in Rome, but it feels like 83 degrees because that dew point is at 70 degrees. So the dew point's really high. It's really humid already this afternoon, and it's going to be the same type of weather for tomorrow. Unsettled weather returns Thursday with scattered thunderstorms due to a cold front that starts to cool us down a little bit, and we'll be in the 70s again for the weekend, but it's still going to be really humid with this dew point near 70 degrees even through the weekend. So the humidity sticks around, but the heat will break soon. Today we're going to be hot and humid with highs near 90. I will talk a little bit more about this heat coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. 23.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are tracking hazy, hot, and humid weather for today. Highs are going to be near 90. Let's take a look now at downtown Utica. We are seeing sunny skies. That's really heating us up for the rest of this afternoon, and we will remain dry. It is going to get very humid outside, and it's going to be the same type of weather for tomorrow as well. So our sky watchers already have us in the lower 80s here at noon, 81 degrees in Clinton, Ilion, and Maryland, 82 degrees in Mohawk. That dew point is at 70 degrees, pretty humid at this hour. This is being measured at the Griffith Park Airport in Rome. So with the combination of the temperature and the dew point, it's feeling like 83 degrees. So it's feeling a couple degrees warmer. Once the temperature reaches the mid 80s, that's when it will start to feel closer to 90, and in the lower 90s, that will be later this afternoon. So make sure you stay cool today and stay hydrated. It's going to be very similar tomorrow. It's going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. Once we head into Thursday, that's when unsettled weather comes in. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible due to a cold front. So we'll start to cool down. We'll actually be in the 80s for Thursday and Friday, but we're still going to be humid. So it's still going to feel warmer than the actual temperature. Same thing for the weekend. We'll be in the 70s after that cold front moved through, but it's still going to be humid, so it's still going to feel warmer than the actual temperature. We are dry on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We will remain dry for today and tomorrow with sunny skies. So we have our heat advisory in effect until 7 p.m. today. I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service issues another one for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be very much the same as today. So if you were planning to take your dog for a walk this afternoon, I would probably skip it. I would wait until after sunset because the ground is very hot. It is going to continue to get very hot. Once we reach 90 degrees this afternoon, the concrete's going to feel like 125 degrees. That asphalt is going to feel like 140 degrees. So either take them outside for a second on the shaded grass, or wait till after sunset or tonight to take them for a walk because the ground is very hot. The surface is very hot this afternoon, so just be careful of that. For the rest of today, we'll remain sunny and we'll heat up to the mid to upper 80s, feeling like the lower 90s. Tonight we'll fall into the 60s. We'll remain muggy overnight. Tomorrow we are going to be very similar to today with sunshine, reaching the lower 80s at noon and the mid to upper 80s for the high temperature, with feels like temperatures in the lower to mid 90s. So expect it to remain hot and humid for today. We are going to be seeing sunshine, and stay cool and stay hydrated. It's going to be a hot one today. It's going to be muggy tonight, and tomorrow will be the same thing, hazy, hot, and humid. We are going to be seeing a cold front approaching Thursday, bringing scattered showers and thunderstorms for both Thursday and Friday. We'll cool down just the weekend, but it's still going to be humid. Gary.
Might be the last heat wave of the summer.
Yes, I'm excited for the fall weather, so hopefully it is.
It's on its way.
Yes.
Hannah, thanks. Well, with school back.
With Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. It's hot out. It's summer.
It's a hot day. It's a nice day. Beautiful sunshine. But yeah, it's definitely one where you're going to want to take it easy if you're going to be outdoors, especially in the afternoon. We've got another heat advisory that continues through our area through tomorrow, affecting the same counties that today's heat advisory did. Heat advisories are issued when the heat index is over 90 degrees, and that's what we saw today. Even though we didn't hit 90, it definitely felt like it. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Stern Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Current temperature is 86 degrees, but this humidity is so high, the dew point's over 70. It makes it feel like 91. We got as warm as 93, but again, the air temperature below 90. The dew point, again, 70, and it's going to stay very muggy tonight, and it's going to be another hot day tomorrow. Temperatures will be near 90 degrees, and we're going to let you know how long this lasts and when we'll get some relief, and that's coming up. Jason, back to you.
All right.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Hot day across central New York. This is the warmest day that we've seen, warmer than all of August. You got to go back to July before temperatures were warmer than today. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Stern Tracker 2 Doppler radar. In addition to the heat, we have plenty of humidity and lots of haze outside. And this is how the weather is going to stay for about the next 24 hours before our next chance of rain returns by Thursday. This is a live look in downtown Utica. Again, yes, it is a hot day, but it's turned out to be a nice day in terms of sunshine. And this time of the year, with the sunset being a lot earlier, we actually have 2 less hours of daylight this time of the year compared to late June and early July, which means it cools off quickly. We'll be seeing that happen this evening. Another great day to be out on the boat or by the beach tomorrow if you can swing it. A sunny day with temperatures close to 90 degrees. Again, high levels of humidity to go along with that. The dew point 70, so just very, very tropical outside. On the dew point chart, this is at the very top of the list here. It's uncommon to see dew points above 70. It only happens a couple of times a year, and this stretch of weather being one of those times. We look ahead and we do see changes here. You just can't sustain this level of heat this late in the season, but we will get a couple more days that will be this hot. Tomorrow close to 90, Thursday 87. It gradually starts to step down beginning Friday. A cold front will be approaching that brings us some rain. The weather pattern turns unsettled heading into the weekend, and it does cool off. The overnight lows also cool off too, but that will take a little bit longer. Most of the nights will be spent in the 60s this week. So you look at the radar and satellite image, we've got high pressure, the heat dome as we call it, just pushing in all of this hot weather in from the southwest. This will eventually break down as we look ahead. Another thing we're going to be watching down the road is this is a tropical system. It hasn't gotten a name just yet. It's got a number. It's number 13, likely to become Hurricane Lee as we head later into this week, and we'll keep an eye on that. Right now, it's just way too early to say where that goes, but it will be marching westward here over the next several days. Tonight, looking at clear skies, and again, a muggy night. Overnight lows drop down into the 60s. Beautiful day tomorrow, sunshine, hot day. High temperatures close to 90 degrees. We're dry. Heading into tomorrow night, the weather remains very muggy. And then Thursday, there will be a very small chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm, mainly in the late afternoon to early evening. High temperatures climb into the upper 80s. Very muggy tonight, low of 64. Another hot day tomorrow. Temperatures close to 90 degrees. Stern Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Temperatures are going to gradually cool off as we head into the weekend. The chance for rain is going to linger around. It looks heavy on Friday, also Saturday, more widespread, and then becoming a lot more scattered and cooler heading into Sunday and Monday. But we're going to look at the records and see how uncommon it is to be this hot this time of the year.
We're hearing about games and practices being canceled tonight because of the heat. And we are reaching that point where it's hotter later in the day.
Right. We're not used to it because it's been so cool in August.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Bill, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. We're meteorologist Bill Curtis. That's hot out there today, and it's got to watch for your pets.
Yeah, we're talking about the air temperature and how the sun makes the surface even hotter. This is called albedo. It's just a fancy way of saying how much energy the ground absorbs, and darker colors absorb more sunlight, and that's why the air temperature on a day like tomorrow could be 90 degrees, but when you look at the pavement, it could be a lot hotter than that. In fact, asphalt under these conditions could be hotter than 125 to as hot as 140 degrees. And when it's that hot, pets' paws can burn in these conditions. And if you're unsure if you want to go out in the morning, in the evening, that's much better. But if you're unsure, an easy way, just put your hand down on the pavement. And if it's too uncomfortable for you to leave your hand on the pavement, it's too hot to be walking your pets. And again, we're looking at temperatures like this tomorrow before some cooler weather starts to arrive. We're tracking the heat and humidity. Look at that forecast is coming out. Back over to you.
If you live in the city of Utica,
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Summer-tember in full swing, at least for now. It is going to be a very uncomfortable night for sleeping. If you have the air conditioner, I hope you didn't take it out too soon. I know August has been on the cooler side, but here we go. It's going to be a warm one tonight. Overnight lows only in the 60s. Very muggy, very uncomfortable. Hopefully you can get the air conditioner going or at least get the fan on, make it a little bit more tolerable here tonight. The overnight lows are going to stay very warm as our humidity sticks around. It stays tropical throughout the course of the week. It will cool down later this week, but the humidity stays very high. It's not until early next week that the humidity really starts to back off. We're just stuck in this summertime weather pattern that has been pretty much elusive for the month of August, but it's here in early September. Live look in Oneonta. It's been a nice day, heat aside. It's been a sunny afternoon and it's been dry, and it's going to stay like this tonight and tomorrow. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. If you can work around the heat and you can get out, go in the morning or in the evening, it would be a pretty decent time to cut the lawn here tomorrow. Thursday, you're going to have to work around some showers, especially later in the day, so an early start to cut the lawn would be best. And then Friday is when the rain starts to arrive. Our MoCast, by the way, is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Very warm day today. We didn't hit 90, but we got close, and it certainly felt like it with the humidity. A lot of the heat index values today climbed over 90 degrees. Barneveld 84, Clinton 86, Old Forge 84 degrees, Curtis Quarters 82. Across Southern Valleys, Hartwick 83, Whitesboro 84, and Lyman and Eaton checking in with 85 degrees. We've got high pressure and control to the south of us, bringing us sunshine, clear skies, and it's serving as a heat pump, bringing a consistent south wind, the heat, humidity moving into central New York. Eventually, a cold front to the west will slowly push in, but that doesn't arrive until early Friday. While we're baking in the heat, we're going to be keeping an eye on this area of cloud cover in the Atlantic. This is expected to become Hurricane Lee as we head later into the week and into the weekend. Too early to tell where that goes as it continues to march westward. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, it's going to be a warm night. Again, overnight lows drop down into the mid-60s. We'll see sunshine tomorrow in abundance. It's going to be another beautiful but hot day with temperatures approaching 90 degrees. The weather remains dry tomorrow night. On Thursday, a cold front approaches. It won't move in, but it'll be close enough to provide a shower or a thunderstorm in the late afternoon to early evening. Thursday's high temperature climbing into the upper 80s. Better chance for rain begins on Friday. Very muggy tonight, overnight lows in the mid-60s. This evening, probably very buggy too with the mosquitoes out in full force. Hazy, hot and humid tomorrow, high of 90. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Showers, thunderstorms possible late Thursday, 87. Showers and storms in abundance Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A cooling trend too with temperatures in the low 70s by Monday and Tuesday. We'll be right back.
6, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
A hot day today. Temperatures made it into the upper 80s. The heat index was in the low 90s this afternoon. We'll do it again tomorrow, and we have a heat advisory that is extended through tomorrow afternoon for the lower elevations surrounding central New York, including the Mohawk Valley. Again, so take it easy if you're going to be doing anything strenuous outdoors. It's best to avoid the middle of the afternoon. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's dry. It's turning out to be a lovely evening. It is cooling off. We're now down to 84 degrees, but it feels like 88 This time of the year, as the sunset is now approaching 7:30, we'll get a chance to cool off here quicker than we would have, say, in June, July, or early August. Again, the big story, the humidity, the heat, that continues tomorrow. We're looking at our next chance of rain not until Thursday afternoon. And we're looking at a cooler and wetter weather pattern ahead. This evening, very warm temperatures in the 80s. Again, tracking the changes and when the heat breaks. And we get some cooler weather here, and that's coming up. Back over to you.
86 degrees, and I'm about to talk about snow. When it
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. If you're looking forward to some cooler weather this evening to get a chance to get out and enjoy some sunshine, just keep in mind the bugs are going to be pretty bad here. With such a wet August combined with the warm weather, the very warm weather we're having now, mosquito activity is going to run high over the next couple of days. Just something to keep in mind here as you're trying to enjoy the beginning and end of the day in some more comfortable weather. Well, the mosquitoes like that too. And with the high humidity, they're going to be sticking around. Another thing too to keep in mind this time of the year, when we have hot days like today, the pavement can be very hot. On a 90-degree day, the pavement could be over 100 degrees, could be as high as 140 degrees. And you'd want to avoid walking your pets, your dogs, in the afternoon time. If you aren't sure if it's too hot for your pets, an easy way to tell is just put your hand down on the pavement. And if it's uncomfortable, if you can't do that for any extended periods of time, then skip the dog walk, or at least go later in the evening time. And then, again, deal with some of those mosquitoes. Live look outside in downtown Utica. It is a lovely evening. We've got sunshine. We've got dry weather. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Cutting the lawn, well, you've got the dry weather, even though it's going to be hot. Our next chance of rain will be late Thursday and especially Friday. A very warm day across the board. Middleville, 87 degrees. Old Forge, even the Adirondacks not escaping the heat. It's 84 degrees. Bob and Clinton with 86. Across Southern Valleys, Westford 81 degrees, Hartwick 83, and West Lawrence checking in with 85. We've got hot weather caused by high pressure just to our south, drawing in a southwest wind. The next chance for rain arrives at the cold front, but that doesn't arrive until late Thursday and mainly Friday, and it's going to be moving very slowly. So while we keep an eye on that cold front to the west, we're also watching the Atlantic. This is what will likely become Hurricane Lee, and it's going to be moving in to the Atlantic, moving westward over the next several days. Too early to tell where that goes, but something we'll be keeping an eye on. Tonight, a very muggy night. Overnight lows only in the mid-60s. A great night for the air conditioner. Hopefully you didn't put it away yet. Looking at the day tomorrow, it's going to be another hot one. Temperatures close to 90 degrees, plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow night, another very muggy night. The chance for rain starts Thursday, and it's going to be late in the day as the cold front approaches. The cold front itself arrives Friday. That will be our best chance of seeing widespread rain over the next 7 days. Very muggy tonight, low of 64. Hazy, hot, and humid tomorrow, a high of 90. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Temperatures slowly cool off throughout the course of the week. We won't really notice the drop in the humidity until after Saturday. Our rain chances will be increasing too, and it does look a lot cooler, a lot more comfortable here heading into early next week.
All right, Bill, thank you.
Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6. Look at the forecast tonight with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Good to see you. Now, this is something we haven't talked about in a long time.
Heat. I know.
That's for sure.
Today, we ended up hitting 87, so we didn't get to 90 today, but the heat index was 93.
Yeah.
These kind of days bug me because in the records, they don't go down as 90-degree days, but
we all know it felt like it out there, yeah.
93. I mean, come on. I call them garbage days.
It is, because it's hot and it should be a record.
You know what? If we're going to suffer through it, we might as well make it count.
Exactly, right?
Anyway, so we're going to get close to this again tomorrow. We'll probably come up with 89 degrees for the high, and it won't be 90 degrees, but whatever. You get the idea. It's going to be a hot day. Take precautions, seriously. When we haven't had this kind of weather in quite a while, the warmest we were in August was only 83 degrees. We haven't hit 90 since the middle of July, so you got to go back almost a month and a half ago for that. Take it easy outdoors tomorrow. It's going to stay warm tonight, too. It's dry in the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. 72 degrees is the 10 o'clock temperature. And even though our nights are longer now than they were a few weeks ago, it's still pretty warm out there. We're going to drop down into the mid-60s tonight. It's a good night to run the air conditioner if you didn't put it away. You're going to be needing it over the next couple of days. We have some warm weather, some hot weather that'll be sticking around. But I will let you know when things start to cool off. Look at your forecasts coming out. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The Utica City School District launched its system of...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We've got some hot weather that's going to return tomorrow. We're going to look at the feels like temperature, the heat index, heading into tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, air temperatures climb into the upper 80s. With the humidity, it's going to feel more like low 90s across the Mohawk Valley. That heat advisory in effect for the lower elevations as air temperatures again climb close to 90, the heat index again peaking in the mid 90s. Tomorrow night, overnight lows only drop down into the upper 60s, and then it's going to feel like 90 again as we head into Thursday. So we've got 2 days where it's going to feel really uncomfortable, really hot before things start to cool down as we look ahead to Friday. The warm weather is driving us crazy at night, isn't it? The mosquitoes are really active. We've got a very wet August combined with very humid nights, and so making things very uncomfortable here. Unfortunately, nothing changes in this department here for the next couple of weeks. Just a reminder, if you're going to be taking the dog out for a walk, you're going to want to avoid doing that in the middle of the day, not just because of the hot temperatures, but mainly because of the pavement. The pavement can get really hot on days like tomorrow where the air temperature gets close to 90. Asphalt could be as high as 140 degrees. And so, again, we're asking people to avoid walking their dogs in the middle of the afternoon. Wait until the sun angle is a lot lower. And if you're not sure, an easy way to tell is just put your hand down on the pavement. If you can't do that for any period of time, it's not time to take the dog for a walk. Live look outside. Weather is looking pretty quiet. It's very humid. It's dry on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It stays dry over the next couple of days. Our next chance of rain, at least widespread rain, looks to be Friday. Could see a rumble of thunder here on Thursday, but that looks to be later in the day. Radar and satellite image showing high pressure and control of our weather, keeping things quiet for now. Another thing we're watching, newly formed Tropical Storm Lee, which will eventually become a major hurricane as we head into the weekend. And the track for the National Hurricane Center continues to bring this eastward, or westward rather. Something to watch for now. No certainty as to what it does near the East Coast. It's just too far out. Tonight, it's a warm night. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 60s. Nice day tomorrow, a hot day. Again, temperatures pushing the upper 80s to near 90. We may see a pop-up shower or thunderstorm as we head into Thursday as a cold front approaches. Very muggy tonight, low of 64. Tomorrow, sunshine, hazy, hot, humid, a high of 90. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. That cold front arrives Friday, and that brings widespread rain. Could be heavy at times.
No. That's the debut of Sports Express, man.
Well, the players don't mind playing in the rain. Probably would feel better than tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd almost rather have rain.
Yeah.
Except for the camera equipment and stuff.
That's your problem.
That is a me problem. All right. Thanks, Bill. Hey, this certainly isn't snow weather. First look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. It has been, let's just say, quite a bit since we've had a heat advisory. You had the greatest stat earlier tonight where you said the last time we hit 90 was a month and a half ago.
Yeah, you got to go back to July. We didn't do it today.
Still didn't hit it.
It's annoying. It's annoying. I call this a garbage day in the sense of when you look at the stats, this is not going to go down as a 90-degree day, even though the heat index was 93. The reason why is there was so much humidity in the air, it actually stops the air temperature from rising. But we don't know any better. It still feels like 93, but it won't. It'll go down as 87.
And tomorrow, going to feel the same.
We still need to take precautions here too. So we want to be extra careful again tomorrow because, you know, knowing the way things are going, we'll be 89 degrees and it won't be a 90-degree day. But regardless of what the record books say, again, you do want to take it easy tomorrow. The heat index is expected to climb once again into the low to mid 90s. Be extra careful in the afternoon time. Also, too, we haven't really been dealing with this very much, especially lately. August, the highest temperature was 83 in August, and again, it's going to be much warmer than that tomorrow afternoon. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's looking pretty quiet across the region. It's very warm, even though our nights are longer than they were in June and August. And we've been getting a jump start on cooling things off. We're still sitting at 70 degrees with calm winds and high humidity. And tonight, it'll be a great night to run the air conditioner. Overnight lows only drop down into the mid 60s. Air conditioner worthy weather tomorrow again. We're tracking how hot it gets as some of the kids head off to school for the first time this season, and that's coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The Utica City School.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are tracking the heat index tomorrow, and we're expecting it to climb into the low 90s tomorrow afternoon. In fact, we'll stop things Wednesday, again, around 6 p.m. The air temperatures will be in the upper 80s, but with the humidity, it'll feel like the low 90s across the Mohawk Valley. We're expecting to stay pretty warm on Thursday, too. High temperatures will be close to 90 degrees with, or I should say the heat index will be approaching 90 degrees, too, with high levels of humidity. You might have noticed this evening, or the past couple of days, yeah, the mosquitoes are back. With such a wet August, and now it's really warm, especially in the evening time, the bugs are really active, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to see any changes here. The mosquitoes will stay very active over the next several days. Going for a walk tomorrow, you might want to do it solo, skip the dog walk, because we are looking at, again, another hot day, but it's all about the pavement temperature. It's actually going to be hot enough where the paws could burn. Looking at the asphalt temperature of around 125 to 140 degrees tomorrow around noontime and through about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're not sure, if you're looking at and thinking about this, an easy test is just put your hand down on the pavement. If it's too uncomfortable for you to do that, it's too uncomfortable to take the dog for a walk, it's best to do it in the morning or in the evening time where it's a lot more comfortable. Live look at the downtown camera in Utica. This is on our Nexus Center. Again, it is a pretty quiet night, nice and dry across the region. If you can work around the hot weather, it's actually pretty decent weather to cut the lawn tomorrow. I encourage you to do that sooner than later because we're looking at a wet weather pattern as we head into the end of the week. A cold front will eventually catch up with us and bring us relief beginning Friday. We're keeping an eye on that. We're also keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Lee in the tropics. This is well in the Atlantic, but it is expected to become a major hurricane as we head into the weekend, perhaps a Category 4. This is the track for the National Hurricane Center. This is the 5-day track. We'll have to see where this eventually ends up as it approaches the East Coast. A lot of the computer models are curving it to the north, but again, it is something we're going to have to watch here as we get into early next week. Tonight, clear skies, overnight lows down into the 60s. Tomorrow, a hot day, sunshine, temperatures close to 90. Could see a hit or miss shower or thunderstorm on Thursday, mainly in the afternoon time. Temperatures climb into the upper 80s. Very muggy tonight, a low of 64. Hot, humid tomorrow, 90 for the high. Hazy too, but it's not smoke this time, thank goodness. Showers, thunderstorms on Thursday, small chance for that, a better chance for wet weather Friday and Saturday as that front stalls over our area. Looks pretty wet those 2 days and some cooler weather to follow heading into early next week.
Friday, though, is the season debut of Sports Express.
I know. Unfortunately, it does look wet, although probably better wet than hot, at least for the players.
That's true. All right, sounds good. Thanks, Bill. Hey, this certainly isn't snow